Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 277. Tesla is making new record sales, even in countries in Europe. And Elon has revealed new and exciting updates on their Robotaxi launch, coming this month. And new prototype from Tesla has been spotted at the Fremont factory. And the Chinese auto market might be a bubble that is about to burst. And we had an investor selling all his Tesla stocks just days before the Robotaxi launch. And GM's Chevy brand might be the next to throw in the towel in China, as their sales has completely collapsed. But at least GM is investing hundreds of millions of dollars in a new V8 engine. And some of BYD's dealerships in China are closed or suspended due to operational crisis. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
So, Tesla is making new record sales, even in countries in Europe. Tesla set a new delivery record in Norway. Also highest sales for Juniper so far. So far, the quarter is similar to Q4 of last year. Sales numbers was pushed into the last 5 weeks. So as you can see here, Q2 2025 is actually keeping up with Q4 of last year. So that is a very strong sign for Norway. There is no direct reason to why Tesla is doing so well in Norway, while we are seeing lower sales in other places in Europe, but I would like to give my guess to why this is, because Norway is typically one of the first European countries to receive Tesla's cars or updates, driven by its EV-centric market and Tesla's strong presence in the country. However, it's not guaranteed to be the very first in every case, as logistic, production, regulatory factors may lead Tesla to prioritize other countries like the Netherlands or Germany for specific models or features. But without precise delivery schedules for every Tesla model, Norway's consistent early access is evident from its sales data and market condition. So, as I've shown many times now, April is usually low because it is an export month. As we can also clearly see here in Norway's numbers, April is down. Oh no, Tesla has collapsed even after the refreshed Model Y has started deliveries. Tesla is doomed in Norway. But then we see Tesla rise again in May, just as I have predicted, and have tried to tell people like Fred Lambert that have been trying to use Norway and other countries to show Tesla's demand has collapsed. But here we can see Tesla sales have risen in Norway again, even making new record deliveries. So the reason why, in my opinion, is that Norway usually get the cars delivered first, as it is a priority country for Tesla here in Europe for exports, and why Germany is so much down in April, as they don't get many cars as they are all being delivered to other countries. So I think we will see the same kind of trends following in other countries as Tesla gets more cars out to all markets. And Tesla also sold more than 11,000 vehicles last week in China, so down compared to the same week last year. But if you think Tesla's models are not doing great in China, you would be wrong. As we can see on this chart, Tesla's Model Y topped mid-size SUV sales of any kind last week. So they might be down as they don't have inventory filled up as much as last year at this point, but they still outsell everyone else with the Model Y. So no, Tesla is not doing badly in China either. And AJ also shared this chart and wrote, "This is largely a meaningless chart due to Model Y changeover, but I include it for completeness only. But I still think it gives a little meaning, as it does show just how little Tesla has lost in China, even with the Model Y changeover. I expect that the second half of this year is going to look very nice compared to 2023 and 2024. And I also think we will see a nice comeback in Europe as well, as production and inventory get back to normal levels, but time will tell. And I'm always working on my content for my YouTube channel, so it's very important for me to always stay connected. Like last year when I was out traveling basically every single month. So it was very important that I was always connected even on the go. This connectivity brings with it a critical need for privacy and security, which is why I'm excited to talk about today's sponsor, NordVPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, with an emphasis on private. It encrypts your internet traffic, masks your IP address, and hides your virtual location, significantly enhancing your online privacy and security. In today's climate, where cyber threats are as common as they come, a VPN makes hacking close to impossible. And I have personally been using NordVPN many times when abroad. Remember when I was in the US for the Fully Charged live show, I was using the public Wi-Fi there, which isn't exactly known for its security, but with NordVPN I ensured my connection remained private and secure. Plus, while I was there, I could still watch my favorite Danish shows as if I was back home. It's just a matter of changing my IP to Denmark and I'm all set. And let's not forget the time when I was in China last year. There, access to the platform like YouTube or Google or many others is heavily restricted. NordVPN lets you bypass these restrictions, maintaining your connection to the digital world, so I could still upload to YouTube. Without a VPN, that would have been impossible. But NordVPN goes beyond just altering your IP. It blocks malware, stops intrusive tracking, and instantly nicks those annoying ads. Plus, it provides an always-on cybersecurity seal, protecting you even when you're not actively connected to the VPN server. So I do use this at home as well. The user interface? Dead simple. Just click the country you want and your IP address changes in an instant. If this sounds like something you need, NordVPN has an exclusive deal for you. Head over to the link in the description, nordvpn.com/bestinTesla, to snag a 2-year plan with a huge discount and additional 4 months for free. It's completely risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. So click the link to start enjoying a safer, more open internet today, and a big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. And it seems like Tesla is actually 1 month ahead of schedule with the full self-driving software, as Elon revealed new and exciting updates of their Robotaxi launch. Let's start with this post from Elon. For the past several days, Tesla has been testing self-driving Model Y cars, no one in the driver's seat, on Austin public street with no incidents. A month ahead of schedule. Now that's the first in full self-driving news. A month ahead of schedule. And next month, first self-delivery from factory to customers. Oh boy, this became real quickly. And according to Bloomberg, Tesla will begin Robotaxi operation in Austin on June the 12th. But let's just hear it from Bloomberg themselves.
Poised to begin its long-awaited Robotaxi service in Austin on June 12th, according to a source. This is a milestone in Elon Musk's plan to reshape the company around driverless vehicles and artificial intelligence. Musk came out on X confirming some of this reporting, saying, quote, "Next month, first self-delivery from factory to customer." Ed, you were the guy that was reporting all on this, and I'm really interested as to why June 12th. There's a significance to the number?
Yeah, what I'm hearing is that this is a kind of live discussion inside of Tesla, that June 12th is the target. Elon Musk had previously said by the end of June, but it's a kind of soft launch, right? Early public access to driverless rides in a Model Y, not in the Cybercab. But it was interesting to see the after hours jump in the stock because, as you know, like we've had this on the show many times, when a date's given, people get more confidence because they're skeptical that it will happen.
And what's also giving confidence is the fact they've been testing.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the landscape, Waymo, Zoox, formerly Cruise, the cars that have already done this on public roads with no one in the driver's seat. What I learned is this week, Tesla has been driving around Austin, no one in the driver's seat, an engineer in a passenger seat. But it's kind of curious that Tesla's only just got to this point, and that's the part that Elon Musk confirmed overnight.
And just funny to hear that they always talking about how Tesla has only first now got to this point where Waymo has been here for years, like Tesla is so far behind. Yes, but the big difference is that Tesla has a scalable model, which Waymo does not. When Tesla starts rolling out robotaxis in the thousands, Waymo will have no chance of keeping up. They have 2,000 Jaguar I-Pace they will make into robotaxis over the next 18 months. This is how fast Waymo is able to do it. And someone like Gary Black has just sold all of his Tesla stock position in his firm, because as he sees Tesla's valuations is now detached from its fundamentals. So he sold all his Tesla stocks just before what we have been waiting for years to play out is finally here. Full self-driving unsupervised. But as Elon said, if you don't believe in Tesla solving full self-driving, don't buy our stock. And when you read what Gary is talking about in the future, it's all about Tesla's automotive business. Man, I think Gary is going to regret this decision in the future. This is like selling your Netflix stocks just before they launched their digital streaming service, because it would have little impact on Blockbuster. I think this meme sums it up perfectly how I feel about Gary selling his Tesla stock now. But Gary just doesn't see the robotaxi future and think Uber is going to be the big winner in this space, so he's putting his money where his mouth is. But I think it's going to be a big mistake. But he can of course always buy his way back into Tesla shares in the future when he realizes what opportunities lies in front of Tesla over the next 5 to 10 years. Let's just hear from someone that is big inside the world of AI. Nvidia CEO Jensen, and what he had to say about Elon Musk and his insane opportunities in the coming years.
Optimus, or in the cars, the Omniverse component. Could you speak a little about that?
We do a lot of business with Tesla and xAI. Elon's as you know, is just an extraordinary engineer, and I love working with him. We've built some amazing computers together. We're going to build many more computers together, and the work that he's doing in Grok, his self-driving car, his Optimus. These are all, every single one of them world class. Every single one of them revolutionary. Every single one of them are going to be gigantic opportunities, and we're delighted. I'm delighted to be working with him on that. And so I think the Optimus opportunity is just right around the corner. It's very likely that human robots are going to be robots that we can deploy into the world relatively easily. And this is the first robot that really has a chance to achieve the high volume and technology scale necessary to advance technology. And so I think this is likely to be the next multi-trillion-dollar industry. I'm very excited for him.
Yes, Tesla has truly only just begun. And Austin is of course just the beginning, as Tesla robotaxis also get the green light for paid service in California as well. Tesla has received official approval for operating paid robotaxi service using full self-driving unsupervised. And Tesla's Model Y has been spotted with the TCP license number, so a transportation charter party license. And Tesla has now also started making their cars in the Berlin factory drive themselves from the production line to the parking lot. But next month, they will not just drive from the parking lot at the Austin Gigafactory, but drive all the way to a customer's parking spot. That is going to be wild. So everything really seems to be coming together for Tesla's launch of the robotaxi and unsupervised full self-driving this month. But in China, we are seeing some disturbing things in the auto sector, but at the same time, we are also seeing some unbelievably good things for someone like Xiaomi. Xiaomi had its best ever quarter, and the EV business delivered exceptional high margins by automotive standards, 23.2%. So either there may be elements in Xiaomi's financial reporting, whether due to accounting practices, subsidies, or other factors, that aren't fully transparent or understood. Without deeper insight, it is difficult to rule out discrepancy that would explain these extraordinary figures. Other alternative is, of course, that Waymo may have leapfrogged the entire automotive industry from legacy giants to EV pioneers like Tesla. So there is no doubt that Xiaomi's ramp is nothing short of impressive. They have within a year overtaken NIO and closing in on Xpeng in unit sales, where both of the other Chinese EV makers has been making EVs for about 7 years. But the most unbelievable thing is their profits. Everyone but Tesla is still struggling to make money on EVs. Ford just lost $5.5 billion in 2024 by selling their 100,000 EVs. BYD is also struggling with profits, as we can see from their free cash flow was negative in Q1 of 2025, and it was also negative in Q1 and Q2 of 2024. And we know that the Chinese EV makers are heavily subsidized in China, so it does not look like BYD is making a lot of profits on their car business. So we know everyone is struggling to make profits on selling EVs, but here comes Xiaomi, and before they even get to 200,000 EV in production, they show a gross margin of 23.2%, a higher gross margin than almost everyone else in the industry, including their ICE business. And Xiaomi has nearly double the gross margin on their EV business than they have on their smartphone business. Something does seem a little off here, or Xiaomi knows something that no one else does. And not everything is looking good in China's EV market. Perhaps we have a bit of an auto bubble in China comparable with the real estate bubble we saw a few years back. As Great Wall Motors CEO Wei said in a recent interview that Ray for Test shared on X, that Evergrande has been in existence in the Chinese auto sector and hasn't blown up yet. Many OEMs are chasing stock valuation and they're losing money making EVs. For context, Evergrande used to be the biggest real estate developer in China and went bankrupt due to cash flow breakdown and mismanagement. Which automaker to blow up like Evergrande does the CEO allude to? Well, something is definitely happening in the Chinese market, as we can also see cars being sold in the second-hand market with zero mileage, as Reuters reported on. China regulators has summoned automakers, including BYD, to discuss increasing sales of used cars that were never driven. A phenomenon called second-hand drive with zero mileage has emerged in the Chinese market as a result of the industry's years-long price war. The phenomenon involved cars that has been registered and have a license plate marking them as sold but had never been driven and been sold in the second-hand market now, and at least 3,000 to 4,000 vendors on Chinese used cars platform were selling such cars. And we are seeing more cracks in China's auto industry, as a major BYD dealership group in Shandong province is reportedly in an operational crisis. More than 20 Quang-branded 4S dealerships across the province have abruptly closed or suspended operations, leaving showrooms empty and customers without service. So something is not smelling right in China, and we might see a lot of smaller fish dying off here in 2025, as there are too many automakers in the country anyway. And the price war continues, as BYD has just slashed prices on 22 models, which as much as up to 34%. And someone that might not be around after 2025 could be someone like GM's Chevy brand. Chevy sales have declined for 6 consecutive years in China. In 2018, it sold over 640,000 cars in China, while in 2023, it only sold 168,000 units, according to data monitored by China EV Data Tracker. But that was not the bottom. The 2024 hit Chevy hard, as it had a record-breaking sales drop of 68.7% to only 52,000 cars. And that was still not the bottom. In 2025, so far from January to April, Chevy have sold 5,300 cars, down 75.9% from the same period last year. So Chevy has basically done the opposite of Tesla in China. In 2020, Tesla sold about 50,000 units, and in 2024 they sold 650,000 units. So pretty clear for everyone that actually takes the time to look at the data and not just read the headlines that Tesla is not the one with the demand problem in China. It is the many new startups and legacy automakers, as I have said would happen for years, as the EV market was growing much faster in China than the legacy automakers were ramping up EV production. So that would of course end up with lower sales volume. This should be logic for everyone watching this space. And we are seeing all of that play out right now. Chevy was unable to adapt fast enough. Despite EV adoption in China reaching nearly 50% last year, Chevy was still relying on the ICE vehicle sales and only had about 5% of its sales were EVs, as Chevy didn't offer many models to the Chinese customers, and those which they did, such as the Trailblazer plug-in hybrid, didn't have much success. And now we might see them disappear from the Chinese market altogether. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. We know a lot of reasons to why to buy a Tesla, like safety and software and performance and so on. But one thing people often forget is that Tesla's Model 3 and Y are the least stolen vehicles in America. Yes, it is almost impossible to steal a Tesla and not get caught, as you can just follow the car's location on your phone and call the police. So if you don't want your car to get stolen, well, get a Tesla. And it seems like Gary Black was completely wrong about BYD's price cut could hurt Tesla's stock after opening hours, as we did only see Tesla stock go up the day after, and even got above that $350 mark. And Toyota's Arena, debuting in the 2026 RAV4, launches a new era of advanced software. Yes, Toyota wants to, in 2026, debut their own homegrown operating system. But let's see what it will be like and if they will be able to make an over-the-air update before we get too excited. Because remember, the Jaguar I-Pace was also able to do an over-the-air update back in 2019, but it only got 3 of them within the first year to fix some bugs and deliver all the features they have promised. But for the last 6 years, the I-Pace has not got a single over-the-air update. So it is one thing to be able to do it and a completely other thing to deliver new features on a regular basis, as we see with Tesla. So let's see if Toyota can become a regular software company, or if this is something like that solid-state battery we are still waiting for from Toyota. And SpaceX might make a game-changing move in India, as Elon's Starlink and other satellite internet firms are set to launch a low-cost broadband service in India priced under about $10, with ambitions to reach 10 million users. However, regulatory bottlenecks, high spectrum fees and satellite capacity constraints may hamper growth. Despite promises of affordability, satellite broadband in India is still 7 to 18 times more expensive than conventional home fiber broadband service. But one that is not satellite constrained, at least, is SpaceX, of course, and Elon Musk's Starlink and other global satellite communication firm plan to introduce their service in India with a promotional unlimited data plan priced under $10, according to a report from the Economic Times. If this is the case, that would be a game changer for the Indian internet market. And SpaceX did also make a new test flight of the Starship, and the launch went as planned with the first ever reused super heavy booster. But they did not want to try to land the booster this time, but planned for a hard splashdown in the Indian Ocean. And they did lose both the booster and the Starship in the test flight. So SpaceX concluded that Starship Flight 9 was a partial success. The company's conclusion was based on the valuable data it gathered from reusing the booster, the heat shield performance and the system behavior. And Elon did finally also get around to that SpaceX update event with a lot of cool new details. Definitely want to check out. We are truly heading into an exciting future. And Donald Trump wants to end the EV and clean energy tax credit with the new bill, but even Tesla Energy tuned in and wrote, Abruptly ending the energy tax credit would threaten America's energy independence and the reliability of our grid. We urge the Senate to enact legislation with a sensible wind down of 25D and 48E. This will ensure continuous speed deployment of over 60 gigawatt capacity per year to support AI and domestic manufacturing growth. So Section 25D gives homeowners 30% tax credit on solar installation, while 48E offers business 30% credit for clean energy projects. And Elon also tuned into the discussion and wrote, "There is no change to the tax incentive for oil and gas, just EV and solar." So this is of course not something that Tesla or Elon Musk is happy about, as this could potentially slow down the shift to sustainable energy. And that is, after all, Tesla's mission to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. And again, people tend to forget that oil and gas industry is heavily subsidized with billions of dollars in the US alone every single year. So if they're taking away the EV and clean energy tax incentive, they should also take away the fossil fuel incentive and just let the technologies play out themselves. But to subsidize one and not the other one seems very unfair. But let's see what will happen. And Jeff Lutz had some thoughts about Tesla's upcoming affordable models that he does not think will just be a stripped-down Model Y or Model 3, as he wrote. The new affordable Tesla vehicles are not a stripped-down version of the Model Y. They wouldn't have spent a year talking about defeaturing an existing product, cloth seats, screen, batteries, etc. Lol. In my opinion, they will ship 1 to 2 or more vehicles over the next year that leverage the brand popularity, giga capex of the Model Y, but solve problems in different segments and sizes. They'll use models from the next-gen vehicle for cost and get them to scale ahead of Cybercab. That's not just a stripped-down Model Y. Lol, use your brain. Tesla may in addition ship a reduced featured Model Y, but that is not the vehicles mentioned in a paragraph in the last 4 earnings prints. Of course, these are my opinions, leveraging my expertise and critical thinking. I could be wrong, we'll know soon. So Jeff thinks that Tesla wouldn't waste a year of just figuring out how to make a bare-bone version Model Y by stripping out nice features to cut cost. Instead, lots believe they are working on something bigger and smarter, like creating entirely new models that are affordable but still exciting and different, not just a watered-down version of what they already have. I hope he's right, because that would be much more exciting. But something new is definitely coming, no matter what, as a new Tesla prototype was spotted testing at the Fremont factory. It could of course just be the performance version of the Model Y, but it does look a little shorter than the original Model Y, so that would line up with something that Lars had said, that they are limited in what designs they can use as they have to use existing production line. But a more compact version with a new front and rear would definitely be a new, interesting model to get on the market. But we will know soon enough. And while Tesla is getting ready to make the next step toward the future of the car market with autonomous vehicles, well, GM is still stuck in the past, as AJ wrote. GM announced to invest $888 million in a new small block V8 engine used in full-size truck and SUVs. Our significant investment in GM's Tonawanda propulsion plant shows our commitment to strengthening Americans' manufacturing and supporting jobs in the US, said Mary Barra. Sure, Mary, if you say so. And Cybermike shared some pictures of a wrapped Model Y light bar. Now that is a cool idea. Clever use of Tesla's reflecting light bar, going to give the car its own unique look. Very cool. And Sawyer wrote, according to a new study, the 2 main reasons people cite why they aren't buying EVs are charging infrastructure and upfront cost. 81% says they'll be interested in switching to an EV if it was as convenient as a gas station. Better EV education is needed. Yes, indeed. EVs are the convenient ones. And if Tesla should ever do some real advertising, well, it should be about EV education. And if you are driving a Tesla, it will make the road trips even better for you as well. Just as Tesla also wrote an X trip planner, not just look at the route and distance, but also factor in temperature, crosswind, headwind, predicted speed, humidity, HVAC use, elevation change, and more. So you can even travel to remote areas no problem. Yes, I have been doing road trips all over Europe for the last 6 years now, and I have had no problem. And Electric Nick wrote, BEV sales in Europe from January to April 2025 are up 27.8% compared to the same period last year. Nice. And after a stagnant 2024, this strong rebound signals that BEVs are back in growth mode. A very encouraging trend after what felt like a lost year for electric mobility. Yes, one of the biggest reasons for that in 2024 here in Europe was Germany's stop of EV incentive, the biggest market in Europe. But as I said, that would change again, just like we saw in the UK, that also stopped incentive in 2022 and EV dropped in sales, but a year later they started rising again. And of course, this is also helped by the stricter CO2 emissions for 2024, forcing automakers to get more BEVs over the counter. And as he pointed out, yeah, the claim that EVs doesn't work in the cold is especially absurd when you look at the Nordic countries, where I live, some of the coldest places in Europe and also the most EV friendly. Oh yes indeed. And Nick Cruz also wrote many such cases. I was a Tesla hater since for me there's no emotion in driving EVs. However, after needing to get one for my daily commute of 100 miles every day, I realized EVs, especially Teslas, are definitely the best for going from A to B. Yet people that are hating on EVs are usually people that have never owned one. Just like Romain wrote on X, in 6 years of owning electric cars, I've never had a charger at home. I would still never consider going back to fossil fuel cars. And Telos EV wrote, nags with version 3 chargers are essential. Check out this line at Electrify America in Cattleman City. We, on the other hand, had no wait, got great charging speed and were out in 15 minutes. I get why some don't like Teslas, but you just can't beat that. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to new supporters of this channel. My new YouTube members, Børge Andersen, Mihai T, Robert Dyer, John Hens, and Eldon Drew Houghton. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Couldn't do it without you guys. I mean that. And let's end off with a bit of fun. Ryan's Model Y on X shared this little video about every Tesla owner that now has the old Model Y. Knows exactly what you mean, mate. But that is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. So thank you for hitting that like button. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button notification bell as well so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes and access to all my research charts and spreadsheets also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and Be nice.